What is going on, guys? Thank you for joining us. It's the 11th of June. We're here for the weekly FM show. We have our guest from over in the pond, over in the pond. Well, he might be in the pond, but it's probably best he's not. Thanks for coming on, Colin.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
How is life in New York City today?
Hot.
Hot. Best
Yeah.
way just to reply.
Well, it's ungodly hot today.
It's a nice way to be. If people go on our Football Manager Central YouTube channel, you will see I did the crossbar challenge today since it was so nice and hot. So it seems to be nice everywhere. Is it hot in England, Ryan?
Indeed, very hot today.
Indeed.
Short Sue on.
Oh dear. Cover your eyes, people. We are going to talk Football Manager. So, first off, there is a new database out this evening, Ryan, from the Football Manager WizKids, which is fantastic. I got it early release today. Been fantastic. I started a new Twitch series, Ryan, where I'm only signing players from the UK and Ireland with Inverness, Caledonian Thistle. I'll only be doing that on Twitch, which is Football Manager Central, if people want to check it out. I stream daily, at least once a day, either during the day or on an evening. And we have some good music. We have Ryan comes on the chat as well, don't you, Ryan?
Do?
You do? So it's definitely worth checking it out. But yeah, with the new database, it's fun. You have players like Drogba. Drogba's on a free. Let's go through who else will be on a free, Ryan. Who's the big names who we can recommend people who will be on a free transfer now? Bobby Zamora's on a free.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much of a big name, but I tried to sign him.
Who's the Arsenal player that's been injured about 800,000 times?
Oh, I've got a stat on him. I've got a football stat, guys.
Is it Abu Diaby? Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's the
I
one.
think the best tweet I saw when he got released was that, and I forget who put it out there, it said that the most upset person at Arsenal was going to be the physio because with all the time he spent in there, they had to have become such great friends.
Oh, thanks, Colin. That was actually me.
Oh, was it you?
Unbelievable. He's stealing my lines and doesn't even know it's me.
I just thought it was hilarious. Sorry.
But yeah, what I noticed a stat today in the last 2 seasons, out of a possible 6,800 and something minutes, he played 13 minutes of Premier League football. It's impressive. But hey, 13 minutes more than we've done.
2 more minutes than me.
Yeah, exactly. But also this evening, don't get mistaken by the name. Colin's not involved. The Copa America is starting tonight. It's more the people south of the border, isn't it, Colin?
Yeah, so, for those who aren't familiar, the Copa America is the South American international trophy, so it's the Euros of South America, or the CONMEBOL nation. Although there are always 2 picks from somewhere else in the world because they don't have enough nations inside their confederation to fill out a standard tournament format. So this year it's Mexico and Jamaica were the asks to participate.
Now, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw it to Ryan because I just love throwing him on the spot, and this will throw him. Ryan, you are the Jamaica manager on Football Manager. You are in the Copa America. Who's the biggest name you want to bring to the competition?
Oh, who's the person?
That was pretty much my thought when I thought of it earlier.
He plays in America at the moment in the MLS for Houston Dynamos, I think.
Giles Barnes is probably the biggest.
Oh, that's nice. Good job, Ryan. That's impressive. That's impressive. He is on the ball, guys, tonight. But as you say, Ryan, Football Manager predicted the Copa America. We did the post. Football Manager, the official account, has promoted this. So I've done the 3 groups. Sorry, done the team lineups for the 3 groups. The group stages, which I'll bring up here, Ryan. So Football Manager thinks Ecuador finished top, Colin, in Group A, with Chile coming in second. Can you see that happening?
I don't think so. I think Chile's a better team than Ecuador. I buy the 1-2 there. Although, yeah, I would buy that 1-2. I would say the other way around. I would call it Chile first and then Ecuador second in the group. I think Mexico's sending a largely B team in there because their concentration's the Gold Cup. So yeah. Other way around. I buy the two getting out of the group in the top two, but not in that order.
And then we'll move on to Group B, Ryan. Can I guess you would be the same, but the other way around again with Group B? Football Manager predicted Uruguay to win the group with Argentina in second. Now, bear in mind, Suarez isn't playing.
He's not, but Uruguay can cause some upsets, so I could be right.
I might be one of the few people in the world, by the way, who thinks Cavani's shocking.
He's not as good as people make out.
I think it's mainly because every time I watch him, he is crap. And that's literally being polite.
I think at the international, I would agree at the international level, I think he's streaky. At the club level, I think if you look at him in Ligue 1, he's much better, but I think he's a head above most of the Ligue 1 defenders. You see him in Champions League, he looks very ordinary a lot of the time.
Do you know what? Ryan's thinking it, so I'm going to say fair play, Colin, for giving it the Ligue 1.
Sorry, I tried.
I want you to do it again, but I want some passion in it. So can you just tell us, what's that league called again?
A little Ligue 1.
That is better. Loving it. And Group C, I will answer this one. I think I would predict the same. Brazil win there with Colombia second. I fancy Colombia. They got some really good players. James, Falcao, I think, can get firing if he's being called up. He definitely was in Football Manager. Now, obviously, as you see, only 2 of the 3 teams qualify. 2 of the teams that come third qualify, and it is down to points. Then, if I did put a part which says exactly what it is, hang on, I'll just go up and explain it to people, because people might want to take part in the Copa America and play it on Football Manager because it's taken part. Okay, so teams who finished third are ranked, and the club with the lowest points fails to qualify. Rules for clarification: points in all group matches, total goal differential, total goals scored, then lots drawn by the CONMEBOL, which I have no idea what that is, Colin, if you want to explain it.
That's it's the Confederation of South American football. I forget exactly what it stands for. It's like it's like CONCACAF is North America, CONMEBOL is South America.
Oh, it's a crap name.
Like UEFA, it's like UEFA, just with sexier and longer.
It's really not. It's a shocking name. They're just going through. Do you know what? Someone asked me today, who do I fancy to be the surprise team? Now, if this was on Football Manager, I would fancy myself with Jamaica to get above Paraguay in the group. Paraguay don't have a lot of good players, and Jamaica, they have no expectation whatsoever. Surely they could do an upset just because they're not expected to do anything. There's just no pressure on them.
I would have gone the other way. I was actually surprised that Peru over Paraguay qualified third. I mean, Paraguay's obviously a tough group, but
I think
historically in real life, I mean, I think they were finalists in the last tournament.
I mean, what I was going to say was I think it's because Paraguay had to come up against Argentina and Uruguay, but then Peru had to come up against Brazil and Colombia, so...
Yeah.
But we'll move on to the first of the quarterfinals. So Ecuador went through, beating Peru with Salcido, who is a goal machine on Football Manager. Ryan, have you ever managed to manage him?
Unfortunately not, no.
Brilliant, great story. Thanks, Ryan.
I'm so far in, he's probably a manager somewhere now.
Unbelievable. Start new save just so we can discuss these things. And in the second one, Colin, you will see for Mexico a guy who is not taking part in Javier Hernandez getting one of the goals. Mexico going through on penalties over Uruguay. Now, you would think in Football Manager terms, you would have fancied Uruguay to beat Mexico because they've got some fantastically rated players, Uruguay, in Football Manager.
Yeah, and I would have expected that Mexico, right, because given that the Copa America and the Gold Cup go on at the same time, I would have assumed that the Mexican squad should have been weaker. So yeah, I was actually surprised to see this result. I would have expected a much bigger Uruguayan victory in this one.
I think we're more surprised that unfortunately Football Manager has messed up on that. and not stuck basically the B team setting for Mexico for this competition. Because as you said, that's how they do it. But we'll go on to the next set of quarterfinals. So Argentina 2, Brazil 3. Now, Ryan, if you were managing Argentina and Brazil, who would you think you could get the best out of? Do you think you could get the best out of Neymar or the best out of Messi and the teams as a whole?
I'd probably go Argentina because they've just got Messi, and Messi is the current.
Oh yeah, totally.
Sorry, I thought you were going to continue.
No, just and Aguero.
Yeah, I mean, Higuain, Messi, and Aguero up front would be a pretty god-awful front three to have to deal with.
And Lavezzi.
Yeah, Lavezzi, Di Maria.
Di Maria, where the hell do you play them?
Yeah, I mean, Brazil have got Neymar, Fred. Is he still playing now?
So.
Was he ever playing? I thought he just stood there. Then we'll go on.
You go out with a 109 format there.
Do you know what I'm genuinely thinking now of a great experimental video for like maybe a whole competition match in Argentina with a crazy ass formation to see what happens. Or literally just playing a team full of attackers.
Defenderless formation.
Yeah. And then in the final quarter-final, it was Chile against Colombia. Now, Falcao, James, Martinez with Colombia, you would expect. I mean, if I was controlling Colombia or Chile on Football Manager, I would fancy myself with Colombia more than Chile, Colin.
This one I think is a pretty fair result. I would expect a game between Chile and Colombia to come down to a penalty. I mean, I could see it going either way. They're both very, very good teams. I agree. I think Colombia's attacking prowess with Rodriguez and Falcao is probably a little stronger than the Chilean presence, but I think Chile's got a good midfield and a defense, so I think it could go either. I'd buy that it goes either way.
I wonder if it's going to be Chile when the competition takes place.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Chile plays tonight, opening night tonight, so.
I'll let myself out after that joke. I'll just quickly jump downstairs before we go on the next bit. Jake said boo. Mr. Zulu, good evening, sir. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. Jake says Rolando Aarons. Seriously, Jake, I really didn't know he was even called up. Mark, thank you for listening, pal. Appreciate it. James, thank you for listening, pal. I genuinely thought you were at work, or I would have actually asked you to come on. It's all about Brazil and Colombia. James said that's not the Fred you think about in the Brazil squad, it's the Shakhtar Fred. Oh no, we were actually talking about the shit Fred though. Ryan was just asking if that Fred was still playing.
Yeah, I don't think he is. They've got Diego, Tardelli, Neymar and Robinho up front.
Oh. But then, okay, first semi-final. Sorry, Ryan, I got distracted. First semi-final. And again, the issue with Mexico not sending the B team, Colin, Javier Hernandez with the first goal. They beat Ecuador 2-1. I think Ecuador getting to the semi-final, if that happened in real life, I think they'd be delighted with that.
Yeah, I would imagine that they'd walk away pretty happy with that. If Mexico sent an A team down there, this would be a believable result to me.
And we'll move on to the second semi-final, the host nation Chile. They would definitely leave them with a hot atmosphere after that defeat. I tried, seriously, I tried it. I didn't know what to say, to be honest. Halfway through, I got a bit confused. I'll definitely let myself out now. But Ryan, Brazil beating Chile, they didn't even score a goal as well. Chile scored.
Maybe Chile went defensive and
maybe
put the ice blocks in front of everyone.
It's unbelievable. We're moving on. He tried his hardest to think of something. And the final, Colin, you can tell us your thoughts on the final. Brazil won it 3-1 over Mexico. Brazil win it realistically, I think.
Yeah, I think this would be a realistic one. If you watch the friendly that they played last week, within the last 2 weeks, I think Brazil just dominated what was a strong Mexican squad. So, yeah, 3-1 to me is a totally viable result. I don't think it would be much competition with Mexico out there. I think there's a big gulf in quality between the two squads at that level.
So we'll move on now. I think it's the awards and team stats and stuff. We'll just quickly go through them. So Neymar won player of the tournament. Oh, no, sorry, he didn't. Neymar won man of the match in the final. That's why he's on this screenshot. I think that's realistic. I think he's a player for the big occasions, Ryan. I think I can see him doing well in the tournaments. I think Football Manager's got that correct.
Oh, I mean, definitely. I mean, look at that dribbling stat of 20. He's just incredible.
And before anyone asks, this is the default skin. Must be about 30 times in the last week I've been asked. So the next one is the player stats. So what do you think of them, Ryan?
There's a few. Average rating. Dante got the highest average rating. That's interesting, because I don't actually rate Dante in real life, but we'll see.
Yeah, Dante is a shocking defence. Let's be honest though, the Brazil defence in general is shocking. Colin, I'm not a fan.
No, I think that's probably by far their biggest weakness, and unfortunately, as long as their offense is clicking it the way that it does, you tend to overlook it.
Now there is a player there in the shots on target ratio who I didn't even think of, which was Leonardo Ulloa from Leicester, Ryan, in the Chilean squad.
Yeah, he's won 57%. That's over however many games Chile played. That's not bad.
Not too bad. It'll be over 5 games or 6 games maybe. See some of them played. But I'll just quickly go through the rest. Messi with the most goals in the tournament and the most assists in the tournament, which is fair play to him. But we'll go on to the players who I picked out as players of the tournaments. Now, I want to know if you've managed these people in Football Manager, and I also want to know what roles you think they will be playing in real life, and what roles, looking at their stats, you would play them as in Football Manager. So the first player who I picked, not the game. I picked this guy as one of the players of the tournament, Hector Herrera. He plays at Porto currently, valued at 6.25 million. This is just after the tournament finished. I don't know if his value went up. Maybe it's a player people who listen and might think, oh, I'll go and check him out. Ryan, what do you think of this guy, and how would you think of using him?
I actually think I have used him not on FM 15 but FM 14, and I played him as a central midfielder on support, because he's got all the stats. All of them are above 10, so he's got that nice all-rounded base player that you can just stick in the centre of the park and expect him to try and control things.
I think, Colin, the fact that stamina and work rate are the highest stats, and concentration, I think I'd be thinking towards the box-to-box idea.
Yeah, it's so same as Ryan. I've played him in FM 14, not in 15, and yeah, I use him more as a box-to-box on that one. I think he's the things I like about it. He's got the work rate. He's got good pace and stamina and acceleration, so he can get back and forth. He's still got good defensive skills as well as good offensive skills. So I agree he's good generalist, but I like him a little more in that sort of Vidal type role.
Yeah, he looks a great player. I'm wondering if James is now quickly trying to steal him for his Sporting Lisbon save. He's now begging Porto to sell him to a rival. The next player I picked was Jeremiah Rulli. He didn't win goalkeeper of the tournament. The Brazilian goalkeeper won it, but this guy did well clean sheet-wise and saves per game. And I just thought he impressed enough there, the 7.38 average. It's not often, as Ryan said in the past on previous shows about the football shows, goalkeepers often get overlooked, Ryan. So I thought I would throw him in as one of the 3 I recommend for people to check out. And if you also look, he's actually on a free transfer as well.
Yeah, I was just about to pick that up myself, which is
Real Sociedad release.
He'll be wanted by quite a few. I think he's wanted by quite a few top clubs in real life, actually. So one to watch out for in the future. And I know he turned out really well in FM. I'm sure he became. He won quite a few I'll get my words out in a minute. He won quite a few medals and trophies in the World Cup and the other competitions across my save. So watch out for him.
I was very surprised when I picked him due to stats, and then I saw he was actually on a free transfer. And Vale Sostad just decided to let him go, Colin. So okay.
Maybe they couldn't afford his wages.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Is that he's probably starting to peak, and they just let him go because he couldn't afford him.
Yeah. And the third player I've picked as player of the tournament, let's be honest, guys, we all know it's going to be Lionel Messi. When you finish top goal scorer and top stats, top assists. Now, what I will say is, as you know, Ryan and Colin, I have actually managed him in FM 15, in my journeyman when I was at Liverpool.
Cheat.
I threw the money at you, said cheat. Now, what I will say as well is I've actually managed Messi and Ronaldo. Because if you remember, when I left Liverpool, I went to Arsenal, and Ronaldo was already at Arsenal at the age of 39. So, you're just jealous. It's the first time I think ever I'd managed Messi or Ronaldo, so I was literally dancing around the room when I signed Messi, even if he was 35. But, I mean, look at them stats, Colin. I mean, when I say, what role do you want to play him in, it's literally, I think the reply is anywhere you want.
Yeah, I want him on the field. He can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants beyond that.
Yeah, would you dare shout at him? You're in the wrong position. You're in the wrong position. You can imagine him just turning to you and going, "Do you know who I am?"
I would only get angry at him if he did something like run off the field, get lost on his way to the stadium, anything like that. Beyond that, he can do whatever he wants. I'm not going to get in his way.
It's just like, yeah, do what you want. Just wait for half-time. I'll make you a cup of tea.
My entire training strategy would be, get the ball to him. I don't care what you do. Get the ball to him.
We're now going to go on to the overall team 11 of the tournament. I want you guys just to pick out any FM stars who you've had experience with first. So I'll go to you first, Colin.
Okay, let's see what we got.
So we've got Neto in goal, David Luiz, Dante, Belante, Sandro, Valencia, Oscar, James, Arroyo, Messi and Cavani.
David Luiz as a right back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think they just throw people anywhere, don't they, though, in these type of team of the tournament.
I was just trying to figure out how shocking the rest of the right backs had to have been for him to have landed there.
I'd been more worried about how shocking the wingers were when Antonio Valencia with a 6.5 average is the right winger of the tournament.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I didn't miss the rating, but yeah, I mean, he's good in real life, but yeah, that's a little shocking.
It's not good in real life either, Colin. I think you're being a bit generous. Look, I'm trying to click on it, just click on him to see stats in the tournament. I didn't realize.
Tell me how shocking he really was. No, I actually haven't. So I don't have a FM14. I had a little more experience. So I had James when I did a Real one. I had bought him on an FM14 save into Real Madrid, and that was the last time I've played a giant club. I tend to steer away from playing the big boys and the big clubs.
So basically what Colin just said there, guys, is he signed James before Real Madrid did in real life, so they copied him.
Yeah. I only wish I was that smart.
You'll see the strikers. Messi he only played 3 games in the tournament, scored 5. And he finished top assist guy. He only played 3 games. What?
That's Messi for you.
Cavani played 4, scored 3. Which I'm quite surprised by, because if we go on the stats, Salcido got 4 goals and he had the best shots on target ratio. So I would have thought he would have had a high rating because of them 2 factors.
Maybe there was things like passing completion and everything else that came into effect.
I'm just wondering if Cavani's not on the assists. Average rating, he is up there. So as you say,
yeah, there's something else is at play.
Belante in defence, obviously a Football Manager wonder kid, so no surprise he's in there. Ryan,
interested to see how he turns out in real life.
I've heard good things about him. I've heard he is actually developing well, but is he going to be the Football Manager level? It's going to be interesting.
There's Alexandra as well, who's usually turns out quite well. He usually ends up at someone like Barcelona on Football Manager. I know he did for me on my save. So he's one to watch, and obviously you've got Oscar in there as well, who also turns out quite well.
Yeah, Oscar's a fairly decent player. One obviously we know from the Premier League. But we'll go through a couple of more things that have happened recently. We didn't obviously do last week's show because we were doing something. I have no idea.
You were
So
in bed.
Oh yeah, we were in bed, not together.
Are you sure?
Just to clarify, last week, Football Manager had a weekend where the game was free to play for people. Very nice and sports interactive. And even more nice was they promoted one of our posts to go with it. The opening few days of a save. Basically, I set up a save with Livingston in Scotland, and I basically showed the things that I do as I play through my game on Football Manager the first few days of managing a club. If you take over a club, Colin, is there anything specific you like to do before anything else?
So I think big things I like to do is one, I like to know and I need to know what I want to do with the club. I think once you know what you want to do, what your goals are, then the rest of the things that you start looking at become a lot clearer. So, am I looking at just consolidating a position? Am I going trophy hunting? Do I want to try and compete? League and domestic cup, so I need to have a deeper squad, and then you start digging into where are my holes, what do I have to do. So I think the first thing I always do is what am I getting out of it? What do I want? Where do I want to go? What am I trying to accomplish? And then that starts to tell me what are the things I need to start looking at or start to do when I tackle a save.
I think it's always interesting, Ryan, the first few days because whenever you set up a save, you have a rough plan. Obviously, like the Twitch series at the minute, obviously I own one UK and Ireland, so the first thing I did was make sure that's all selected in the searches, get my scouts out in the UK and Ireland looking for players. On From Zero to Hero, the idea is to build up my manager reputation. So obviously after 5 years in Norway, I'm now managing in England, so I've moved along. I'm looking obviously to build my reputation more. I might end up going to, I think I've got Germany, Spain and Holland open. So am I looking to get into a club and develop the youth? Not straight away. If there's one or two players who stand out, then fair enough. But if I'm doing a long-term save, Ryan, with a low league club or a club which I know I can take up the leagues, even if a player's only 1-star potential, I can develop them normally into a 3-star potential player with the correct training. The prime example of that is on Football Manager 14 when Jay did his KR save in Iceland. His son came into the game and he was only a 1-star potential. And through me and Jay talking and me advising on training routines, individual training routines, his son actually ended up getting capped by England and became the best player in the club. So people need to kind of steer away from only worrying about the star ratings because you can improve them a lot. So if I'm going to be in there for the long haul, I will always get up a notepad. I always have notepad open quite regularly, and I'll make notes of players who. I'll make a note of a player and I'll make a note of what month I set a training routine, so I know 3 months from that date I will go in and alter his training. And over the next 3 or 4 years, I will be constantly rotating what training he's doing to improve his stats and improve exactly what I want. If I want him to be a limited defender, if I feel he's got the ability to be a ball-winning defender, for example, because obviously if you've got a limited defender, you're only going to focus on a couple of stats. But all of this is determined in the first few days. You don't go into a save and then a year down the line going, oh, do you know what, I'm going to try to develop my youth now, because you just ballsed up a whole year of the save. Some people do that, but I just feel, in my opinion, the first few days, Ryan, are very, very important.
Yeah, they're always. My save has been very long, so you could say on my save that I've had very many few days at a club.
A couple of them, you were sacked within them.
Yeah, But I think the main one I'm going to pick out is the Man United one, where I went in and knew exactly what I wanted to do from when I started the save back at Coventry. When I went to Man United, I knew I wanted to go there and bring back the old Man United of Sir Alex Ferguson ways. And the season coming up, when I update the pre-season that I've just completed, and it's taken me quite a long time. I'm usually finished the season by now, but busy lifestyle right now. You'll see how I've taken about 5 of the youth players into the first team now.
That's nice. Class of 2050.
It may well be, but some of them, I think I posted them a few weeks ago, and Colin commented on the post that they're very average players, but they are very good squad players, so they can fit in when the better players aren't available. And right
how
now,
old are you, Ryan?
one of them is 19, who I've just had my right back injured in the last pre-season game for 5 to 6 months.
Oh.
So the right back that's coming through from the youth system will be the backup right back, because I brought a right back just in case, because I don't want one right back for 6 months.
No.
So the youth right back will be getting a few games and hopefully develop.
Nice. I mean, we can no doubt get him developed into a really good player. It's all about focus, deciding what you want from him, because I know when we'll just talk about player development a little bit. We'll see exactly how you do it, Colin. Because what I did with Jay was he showed me the play, and he was just a bit, like stuck on what route to take the play, because he had very limited stats. He was good at marking, tackling, and heading, but apart from that, he was not good at anything really. So straight away we had decided, look, he has to be trained as a limited defender. Right. So there was no messing around. We literally from the off focused on them specific stats that are needed for a limited defender, but we stayed away from the stats which improve as you get older, and we basically made him an absolute beast. I said, right, you want his tackling to 16, then you want to get his marking to 15, 16. And bear in mind, they were starting around 11, and then 90% of the other stats were around the 5 to 6 mark. Mm-hmm. And when we finished, this guy looked an absolute beast of a limited defender. Nobody got past him. How do you go about developing? When you look at a player, how do you decide, right, this is going to be a box-to-box, or this is going to be a poacher?
So I tend to... Depends on where I'm at. I tend to try and spend a lot of time. So I'm with you on star rating. I don't pay any attention to it ever. I don't think it. I think it's mostly misleading, and it's an enormous pain in the neck. If I'm looking at players, I'm delving into the stats, and then a lot of it depends on what the style of my squad is or what I'm trying to play. So if I'm looking at a guy for a box-to-box midfielder, I'm looking for somebody who's going to have great stats. I tend to like to play high pressing, high counter pressing, and a lot of pressing in my squads. So I'm looking for guys with a lot of stamina, a lot of pace, and then good tackling, good recovery.
Yeah,
they're going to get the ball, and then they're going to be able to start moving it back up and provide support along the continuum of it. So I'm looking at those kind of stats, and then when I get it, same sort of thing. I take a look at where it's at. What are the things that I reasonably think I'm going to be able to start improving, and then just focus on it. I have a little different time window. I tend to go more at mid-season. I tend to run them in one area and then switch up mid-season.
Okay.
Just it's easier for me to remember.
Yeah.
When sort of winter breaks come, that kind of thing. Then it's like, okay, I'm in the mid-season. That second transfer window opens. It's okay, let me go in, make some switches, see how guys are developing. I think the other thing I try and do is cut loose guys that I don't think are really developing to bring more people in, more youth people in. I think that's something, just to find guys that tick off a handful of the stats I'm looking for that may be out there on transfers, or go looking around in other teams' youth systems, see if there's guys out there that are just sort of sitting around. If I can throw a couple of $100 in, or that, small change into some teams on transfer fees to bring in some new guys to try, I try and do that kind of stuff in the winter. I try and leave the summer transfer window to first team and moving the first team on, and that's so that's sort of what I try and go after and do.
Okay. What about yourself, Ryan? I mean, when you're looking to develop the players, what do you look for anything specific? Basically, the reason I thought I decided to bring this up was on Facebook. I've noticed there's a couple of people that post how they want, for example, Arsenal. They want Arsenal to be quick tempo and they want them to attack really fast with the ball. And then they'll show a screenshot of a player they're looking to sign. And this player has very poor stamina, very poor pace, and he just does not match the type of game they want to play. But because they've looked at the player's dribbling and the player's first touch and the player's passing, they think he will suit it well. But then you'll find he's going to struggle in the team, Ryan. And people need to assess the whole situation, I think, for them specific roles. So you can't go in signing a player because he can pass a ball if he doesn't have the legs to fit in the system you want to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, now at Man United, I want that pressing play, but it's not all quick tack, bang, bang. You've got to get the ball as soon as the other team have possession of the ball, because the tactic I've got now, I think I may request to put it on a future show. I'm now getting above 60%, sometimes 70% in games. It's quite ridiculous, the possession stats that I'm getting. So I'm looking for a mixture of players that can press and players that will be able to relax and let players come at them and then press at the opportune moment. So I've got that mixture there, especially in the players that are now coming up from the youth team. And I don't know if anybody does this, but if you want your youth players to understand the tactic you're using in the first team, make sure that the option is selected that the under-21s and the under-18s are using your tactic, because they'll get to know it, and then when they come into your team, they know the tactic already, or they'll know parts of it because they're using it.
Yeah, that's a fantastic tip, and it's definitely one that people should use, and we recommend them to use. I mean, a prime example, I think, Colin, of fitting a tactic into what you've got is the first few years of my Zero to Hero. I played the very narrow 3 central midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders, and 1 striker. Now, obviously, that came about because I didn't have any natural wingers. But I had people who could play on the wing, and I've seen this happen in a lot of saves. People would put these people out wide, but my players they didn't have the pace, they didn't have the natural fitness, they didn't have the stamina, they didn't have the agility to be proper wingers. That's why they could play out wide, but they were naturally central attack midfielders. Now, because of the pace, the acceleration, the agility, the stamina, I've just dropped my mouse. I was playing a very passing orientated game, and obviously for 5 years now, and in the 6th year as well, managing in England, I've topped all possession stats. In obviously control of the ball, passing percentage, everything basically. And it's all about finding the right stuff for your team, Colin.
Yeah, and I think something that I see a lot, especially as people post in in the Facebook group, and that is, I think people sit down and say, "Oh, I want my team to play like X," and then don't really think through all of the permutations of what that means, and you end up like that of, "Oh, I have a guy and it says, yeah, he can play left wing in the midfield, or he can play right wing or whatever," and then they glue in this formation, and then all of a sudden you get those questions of, "I've lost 10 games in a row and I don't understand why." And it's like, well, exactly what you said. The guy you've got out there, once you get into that early season, match fixture congestion in most of the European leagues, he's probably having a hard time getting out of bed every morning because he's exhausted. Yeah, he's not really keeping up with anybody, and you're getting burned left, right, and center down the wings, or your fullbacks are getting overloaded, or whatever it is. I think a huge part of the game is, before you ever sign a player, do anything, is you got to pour through the stats, look at the players, look at what you've got and what you want to do, and then come to a decision about what you can do, and then start evolving the squad to what you want to do.
I mean, I guess when people watch on Twitch, I'm not the best example for it because I think it's when you do it naturally. I know James is the same if he's still listening. He does it. When you do naturally, you flick in and out of players' screens so quickly that people maybe don't realize the amount of stats I'm like rushing through my brain. Like straight away, I'm not really. I'll look at the if I'm looking at a midfielder, the first thing I'll do is I'll look at his physicals. Right, he's quick. Look at his technique. Right, he can control the ball. Then look at his mentals. Go right, he's going to lose concentration. He's not good enough. Because he might be fantastic. He'll be able to get up and down the wing. He'll be able to cross the ball and he'll be able to pass the ball. But he's going to switch off and concede us a goal when the fullback overlaps. And you don't want that. So I think people need to just remember, look at the overall picture. There's some fantastic football manager players out there, and they sign some amazing players. And I think they do it without even knowing half the time. When they're looking at the players, they just automatically scanning and finding them good players, which is fantastic. I think it's great when you're in that kind of mindset where you can scan players without even putting much thought into it, really. I don't know if you do it, Ryan. Just you look at the screen and you've automatically scanned 10 stats before you've even thought about it.
Yeah, I think for most FM players, if you've been playing FM for as long as people on FM Central have, you just know where to look automatically. You don't even think about it. You just look straight there and make a split judgment. Yeah, that player's good enough, or no, that player's not. Move on quickly.
I think if Mona sits next to me, sometimes I'll click on a screen. I'll literally click and then just press like the backspace on my keyboard within the space of a second sometimes. And it's literally click, low concentration, out. Or like click, low determination, out. Because I think them keys are so important. Them stats are so important to myself. Because as I said, Colin, I don't want a winger he's gonna do the business attacking, but he's gonna cost me goals. If he's gonna switch off and let that fullback get forward, I don't want him in my team.
No, absolutely. I actually found that I was playing around with different skins in the game, and I actually found that it screwed up my ability when I was doing scouting and recruiting for the team because stuff was in different places. So it was my brain just didn't pick up on where it was, and it took me longer to read and pore over everything, and I was making more mistakes. So I actually switched it back to the original skin because exactly that. I can flick into a screen, my brain knows where it is, I process what I want, I look at it and say, yep, no good, or okay, worth it, let's get him in and see what he can do.
I mean, I've not used the original skin for years, but this year now it's back to the dark version, naturally with a nice picture in the background as well. I'm back on the default skin now, and I'm really enjoying it again. It's a nice, fresh skin, it does everything you want. There are some beautiful skins out there. The one James used with all of his graphics included. Ryan's now I think is a bit better. It was really hard to read the right, and I always complained to him about that. And the strange thing is, he's the one that wears the glasses out of us two, and yet I'm the one that complains about not being able to see the writing properly. Work that out. It should be the other way around. But I was going to say something, and I've totally forgot. So we've got a minute left. So Colin, what are you doing on YouTube?
So now that I'm finally recovered from a weird midsummer cold, I will be back recording Local to Legend with the New York Red Bulls. We're going into Season 3 after a great run in Season 2, unfortunately getting bounced in the Eastern Conference Finals, so that was a little disappointing, but we are back and ready to go in Season 3. And then I just completed my move in my dominating CONCACAF. We're in the second division of Jamaica. We did a lot of youth recruiting over the summer and picked up a senior. We've got a bunch of guys coming into the winter transfer window, so the goal is to just get the team to kind of hang on, put a squad together, put some youth in that system, and then start to get ready to push to go up to the Jamaican Premier League so we can get into the Champions League. So that's what's going on my side.
Awesome. And what's the channel called again?
It is FM Yank on YouTube.
There we go. And Jake said he only ever liked one skin, and they were both on FM14. Ryan, do you want to pick on him for messing up?
Jake's just useless. He just doesn't know anything.
Brilliant. We love you, Jay. Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for coming on, Colin.
No problem. Thank you much for having me.
And join us, guys, on Monday night for the Monday night show. Thank you to people who listen back on YouTube. Our YouTube views are slowly going up on both of our shows, so it is really appreciated. And the channel as a whole is slowly expanding, which is always fantastic. So thank you, guys, and we will see you for the Monday night show. And we will be back next week for more Football Manager talk. Good evening.